Like any big fandom out there, roller coaster enthusiasts have a big mix of people. They got some wonderful people, and then they have this group that's kind of out there. So, roller coaster and park enthusiasts are a very active group of people. You've got the American coaster enthusiasts. Many states have their own coaster clubs, including the Greater Ohio Coaster Club and the Florida Coaster Club and the California Coaster Club and a whole bunch of others that are out there. Clubs all over the world. They travel around, they have a great passion for theme parks, amusement parks, roller coasters, dark rides, and pretty much anything that goes along with it. Most of the people in these groups are wonderful, fantastic people that it's a hobby and they enjoy it to get out and meet people. But like any fandom out there are definitely a group of people that are, shall we say, interesting. And I'm not referring to special needs. Coaster park enthusiasts seem to have a larger than normal share of these people. And unlike, say, Trek fandom, they do get out of the basement. They travel around for their passion. But some of them take it to an interesting extreme. And if you run into them in the parks, well, you may recognize them. You may not realize quite all the issues with them. And I say all this as somebody who are one. Yep, some of this is definitely me. So when guilty, I will admit it here. So here are ways to recognize a park and roller coaster enthusiast and also to know some of the issues that some of them have. One, they may carry a clicker to count their laps on the roller coaster. Yeah, I've known several that do, clipped onto their belt or in their pocket, and they pull it out as soon as they finish the lap. And okay, I've never done that. They may be wearing shirts from other parks about the roller coasters there, showing off where they've been and what coasters they've been on. Yep, done that one. In fairness, Disney fans will do this as well. They'll wear Walt Disney World shirts to Disneyland and Disneyland shirts to Walt Disney World and stuff like that. The ones that always got me at Disney were the ones that wore Universal shirts to Disney. When you see people wearing a shirt for a roller coaster at a completely different park, yep, very possibly an enthusiast. Better yet, when they wear the homemade shirts that list their top roller coasters. Okay, so years ago, this actually would be people who bought the gel pens and the glitter pens and stuff, and they would draw on the shirts and make it that way. Now you can customize it online and order it from Spreadshirt and Teespring and stuff like that, but some of those homemade shirts were quite interesting. They're the people in line who will tell you all the stats and information about a roller coaster that you really didn't care to know. Who built it, how tall it is, how fast it goes, how many inversions it has, how long it is, when it opened. Yep, that would be me. I've done that. It's a practice. You have to learn the skill. Just shut up. They really don't care. But yeah, the ones that can recite all the different stats, they're the ones that will throw out lingo such as blocking system and upstop wheels and side friction and this isn't really a wood coaster, it's a hybrid. Yep. The people who carry around a spreadsheet on their phone to keep track of what coaster they've been on, when they went on it, how many times they went on it, what type of coaster it is, notes about it, where it ranks. Okay, mine's not on my phone, but yes, I do have a spreadsheet that covers some of that. Yeah, the ones that have to keep track of all their coasters and all of that. Yep. The ones that will tell you in line, best seat, right there, right there. Sit there, that's best seat, best seat. Or if they start talking about something called the Schmeck seat. The what? Okay, so here's the coaster nerddom coming out. Back in early 20th century, there was a coaster designer called Herbert Schmeck. Early to mid 20th century, who designed a lot of wood roller coasters. His roller coasters all feature trains with cars that had 3 benches each in them. And typically you'd have like 4 or 5 cars. So the Schmeck seat is the first car, third row, or the back row of that first car, because the way Schmeck designed his coasters, that particular seat tends to get more airtime. That's the negative G's where you're floating out of your seat. Yeah, okay, there's a whole bunch of coaster nerd lingo for you. Explaining a coaster nerd term. The Schmeck seat on an old wood roller coaster is oftentimes a fantastic seat to ride in, but if you hear somebody throw out Schmeck, yep, they're going to be a coaster nerd. There is the outside signs of a coaster nerd and geek, where it really kind of matters is how they live it and the attitudes they take because of it. Because what happens is there is a group of them that begin to elevate themselves and have some kind of odd priorities based on their roller coasters. People who begin to think that a person's value and worth is actually based on how many roller coasters they've been on, and which roller coasters, and where they've been to. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You haven't been to Cedar Point. Oh, you've only been on 100 roller coasters. You don't know anything. Look at me. I've been on 450. The people that when you go to roller coaster websites and discussion forums have their roller coaster count in huge letters as their signature. Okay, dude, if you got to put your roller coaster count in big letters just to brag about it, you might have a little bit of an issue. Because it's not that important. People who think that their roller coaster count makes them a valuable person. Okay, I know my roller coaster count, but there are a whole lot of other things far more important in life than how many roller coasters I've been on and which ones. But you have people that just, and again, this isn't most enthusiasts, but it is definitely a larger niche. And there's just something about theme parks and Disney that, because they value this count, they tend to idolize and follow and gravitate towards people who have more roller coasters. And especially the ones that run the websites talking about what roller coasters they've been on, who get to film video footage on them. And the quality of the person doesn't matter. It's just the number, and do they have on-ride videos and photos, and do they show backstage stuff, and do these people have special access? Because that's what I want. And there are a couple people in the roller coaster enthusiast community that they're jerks. Oh my goodness, they're terrible people, but they're held in high esteem because they've been on roller coasters all over the world and have a website about it. It's this really weird, skewed thing, and I see some of these people and kind of go, that's not somebody I really want to be like or hang around. But the coaster enthusiasts go after them because they've been on a bunch. Okay, these are the ones that will argue about the stupidest things. And they argue as if they're life and death situations. If you ever want some fun and get people all riled up, go to, say, the roller coaster subreddit on Reddit, or some of the roller coaster enthusiast sites, and drop a note and say, Cedar Point's a terrible park. Oh my goodness, they'll come out of the woodworks. They really get riled up and argue about the dumbest things. The fact that people can't fully agree on what is a roller coaster or how to count it. You'll have people that'll argue that a kiddie coaster isn't a roller coaster. You have people that'll argue that you can't count a coaster that travels around at the fairs. You'll have people that will argue over whether Superman the Escape and Magic Mountain is a roller coaster. Some of the very first free fall rides that would go up the tower or push out and then it would drop down and it would actually slide, argue as if this is life and death because it's their count and it's going to affect their numbers. And if a coaster that has 2 sides to it is 1 or 2 roller coasters, argue, fight, mad, steam pouring out of their head because somebody has a different view because this is important. It's not important. They will really get riled up, and they have certain things that they hold in esteem, like Cedar Point. I call them the Cedar Point fanboys, but my goodness, if you say anything bad about Cedar Point, woo, they will come pouring out. It's quite interesting seeing some of the attitudes that some of them get towards people who disagree. And this attitude would carry on with them when they would go into the parks. The one thing that I find that there is this group there that thinks that they are better and disparage what they call the GP, the general public. They can't seem to realize that they are still general public. They are regular customers. Okay, maybe they're a little bit irregular in the head, but they have this idea that because they know, because they've traveled, because they visited, that they are above and beyond the normal guests in a park. Now, parks do help contribute to this a little bit by oftentimes hosting special events for them and giving them a little bit of behind the scenes access and talking about the coasters and letting them have some exclusive time because it's good publicity. It's great to foster the relationship and let them spread good word about the park. But it doesn't mean that they are better than everybody else in the park, like some of them think. I've had arguments with them at Busch Gardens when I worked there. My substitute ride, if Rhino Rally wasn't open, was the Mouse Coaster that was right nearby. I would have a couple of them came in, and they started telling me how to operate the coaster. Guys, I'm the operator who's been trained, not you. You don't tell me how to do my job. They would come to the train at Silver Dollar City and try to tell me how to run the train. Okay, first off, you're a roller coaster enthusiast, not a train one. Second, you don't know what you're talking about. It was very frustrating when you would have them come in, and roller coaster ride ops can tell you about this, that they're annoying. They want to go around safety procedures. They think that, hey, I'm a coaster enthusiast. I know how to ride safely. Leave my lap bar up. And they want to leave lap bars up to dangerous levels so they can get more airtime. Rules still apply to you guys because you're still GP, as you put it. You don't get special treatment. You are the same as every other guest in the park, but they don't think so. And it would cause some real attitude issues. Thankfully, I never had to call security or anything on some of them. But man, I had a couple I was ready to run off the train at Silver Dollar City because they were just being obnoxious about it. And they were there as part of an event. Now, I did happen to mention their name to the event coordinator. These clubs actually have to put in writing a code of conduct because if they don't put it in writing and tell people you will do this, they won't obey it. A lot of them won't. And it becomes very frustrating. So yeah, being a coaster enthusiast, knowing several of them, having been a member of American Coaster Enthusiasts and the Florida Coaster Club and others, yeah, most of them are fantastic people, and I love them. But yeah, that occasional one, and in Ace just seems to get large numbers of them, along with a couple of the other clubs. And the employees at the park, you see the coaster enthusiasts coming, and you're just going, "Oh no, here we go. I don't want to deal with this." So if you are a coaster enthusiast, let me remind you this. Roller coasters are not real life. Just because somebody's been on a lot doesn't make them a better person. In fact, a lot of the people who've been on a lot, their attitudes and egos get swelled up because they've been around and they think that they're huge. Pop it with a pin. Because it doesn't make you a big, huge person. They're fun. I love coasters. I met some amazing people. Gotten to travel and do some fantastic things because of roller coasters over the years. I've been a coaster enthusiast for 25 years. And I wouldn't change it. But yeah, you definitely run into those people that you're like, you need to touch your real life because this isn't it. And your priorities are all out of whack. So if you're a coaster enthusiast, keep it reined in. They're not real life. It's nice to know the best seat on a coaster. It's weird to go bragging to the whole crowd that's in line waiting to get on that that's the best seat. Or to tell a ride operator how to run the ride. This is not a good thing. You can listen to them, ask them how to do it. I mean, goodness, I did all the time. How's that work? That looks really cool. What's that do? I love doing that and learning, but you don't tell them how to do their job. Have you run into a coaster enthusiast? Good experience, bad experience? Would you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Have I just gone totally off the rails and I'm slamming people who shouldn't be slammed? Or have you seen even worse behavior? I'd love to know. What was your experience like? What did I miss? Have you seen something? Tell me in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much to my patrons. Thank you to XJ May for increasing your patronage pledge. I really appreciate it. If you want to know more about supporting me and the behind the scenes stuff, check the description below. Thank you so much for hitting that like button, sharing, and subscribe. And thank you so incredibly much for watching. God bless. So, here's the first things. So yes, some of them have okay, my transition. So let me show you how to In fairness, Disney pokes? Yeah, Disney pokes. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts, your comments, your suggestions, your ideas. Be sure to share them in the comments below, or you can contact me. There's information in the description that has my email address, fan pages, information about merchandise, and so much more. So be sure to check that out. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, and if you haven't already, hit the button right up there to subscribe. And in fact, if you did enjoy this, I've even got another video for you right here. And also about these wonderful people here, those are my YouTube members and my patrons, the ones whose financial support makes this possible. I couldn't do it without them. If you want to know more about that and the perks that come with it, well, be sure to check the description. There's a link right down there. Thank you so incredibly much. God bless.